In my last soap making video, I used homemade aloe oil. Today I want to show you how you can easily make aloe oil by yourself so you can too use it for soap making. I am Sue and my channel is all about soap making. Making aloe oil is basically really easy. On YouTube you can find a bunch of videos showing you several different ways to make aloe oil. I also tried different things and this is how I make it to use it for soap making. I'm using just 2 ingredients, fresh cut aloe and coconut oil. Unfortunately, aloe does not consist of any oil. You will never get oil out of an aloe plant. So you need to macerate it. Meaning you put it in oil for some time and the oil gets infused with the good stuff of the aloe. We have several aloe plants at home, so I can always use fresh cut aloe. But you don't need to buy plants, you can also buy single aloe vera leaves and use these. When you cut fresh aloe, there's this yellow sap coming out. This is called aloe vera latex. It is not toxic, but when you have sensitive skin you might note some irritations when it gets onto your skin. By placing the leaves upright in a big glass you can let it drain out for about 1 hour before using it. Because of the aloe vera latex I use only the gel for the oil. To separate the gel I first cut the leaf into bigger chunks, so it is easier to handle. Then I removed the spikes on the sides. Next I use a large knife to glide under the skin of the aloe leaf. And then I do the same on the other side. If you have a closer look at the leaves, they are on the upper side plain and on the downside more curved. I think it is a bit easier to start with removing the skin from the plain side. For the curved side I then push the leaf down on the cutting board so it lies plain on the surface. You can then easily glide along the skin with the knife and remove the gel. Instead of using a knife you could also use a spoon to remove the gel, but for me it works best with using a large knife. I saw a lot of videos where people are using more than one type of oil for this, for example a mixture of olive oil and coconut oil. When you later want to make soap with the aloe oil, you need to know the exact amount of each oil you put in your mixture, because for soap making you need to add a specific amount of sodium hydroxide. Every oil has a specific saponification number and they are not interchangeable. You can't just eyeball the amounts of oil or sodium hydroxide. This can go pretty wrong and you should never use a soap which was made with too much lye. So to be on the safe side, you should only use one type of oil if you later want to use it for soap making. You then can use the saponification number of this oil and everything is fine. I always give you timestamps for my videos in the description below, as well as some links to the supplies and the ingredients I use. So when you are interested, have a look at the description. I try to remove everything green because the aloe latex sits in the skin and I don't want it to have it later in my oil. And here comes my favorite part of this. You can use the gel, which is still on the green part, as a lotion for your skin, arms, body, your face, or even as a conditioner for your hair. Aloe gel is very nourishing and moisturizing. I wouldn't throw it all away at once, but you can store it for a few days in the fridge and use a piece every day. After separating the gel, I put it into a blender and blend it thoroughly for about 2 minutes until everything is juicy and there are no chunks anymore. Then it's time to rate how much aloe juice I got. I use half the amount of oil compared to the juice, so I take the weight of the aloe juice and divide it by 2. This is the amount of oil I need. I cooked the mixture for about 2 hours on low heat. You just have to stir it from time to time and be sure it doesn't burn. You also have to be careful it doesn't get too hot. If it is too hot, the oil splashes in all directions, so just be careful with the heat and keep it simmering. I'm also using a very big pot in relation to the amount of oil and aloe juice. This is just because when the oil is getting hot, it stays in the pot and doesn't splash all over the stove. After time, the aloe is beginning to change color and starting to clump. Aloe consists of a lot of water. What's happening here is that the water is cooked out and all the plant fibers stay. And the minerals and all the good stuff of the aloe is getting dissolved in the oil. You will also see that the oil is getting clearer with time because the solids clump together. So we just wait until everything is cooked out. Meanwhile, I cleaned the glass container I took the coconut oil from, and after 2 hours I filtered the oil through a cheesecloth and strainer into the glass. Also here, be careful, this is a big pot full of hot oil. Let it slowly filter and then let the oil cool down before using it. And that's it! Separating the gel from the leaves, cook it in coconut oil for 2 hours and then filter it and let it cool down. When you want to make soap out of it, you can use the saponification number for coconut oil. If you want to use a different oil, you can do this, like for example olive oil or hemp oil or whatever you want to use. For soap making, it is just important that you use the specific saponification number for this oil. Regarding the shelf life, I only make aloe oil when I have a plan to use it completely within the next month. I think it could probably last much longer, but I would recommend using your eyes and your nose, and when it starts to look or smell strange, just don't use it anymore. I'm curious, did you ever try to make aloe oil by yourself, and how did you do it and what are you using it for? In all my research of aloe oil, I came along of mostly using it for hair growth, so it seems to be pretty unusual to use it for anything different like soap making. Tell me in the comments and don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you like my video or a thumbs down if you don't. It's a free world. Thank you for watching, sharing and subscribing. Have a great day and see you next time. Bye.